Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vibhyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gukarasvandakaro vai Rukarasthannivartakaha Andakara nirodhitvat Gururutyat vibhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Before I really jump into this Nirvana Shatakam, let's make sure that I'm getting into the right audience, in the sense that this is really we're talking about a little bit higher topic in when we get to Nidhidhyasana. So when everyone has done the Shravanam and Mananam, that's when we get into this Nidhidhyasana state. But to get to that, we have to make sure that basically we are solidifying the knowledge, the Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya, which has been taught to us through Shravanam, and which we have consolidated a little bit in Mananam. But now we are practicing in daily life with Nidhidhyasana. So when we are doing that, if I just reflect back a little bit, it is very similar to what we can think in terms of all the Upanishads and all that. When they're talking about most of the all the Upanishads are saying exactly the same, that Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yaschat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena tiktena bunjitam agradaha kasya siddhanam, as the Ishavasya Upanishad says. Ishavasyam idagam sarvam. So there is nothing other than Ishvara, or there is nothing but God in this world. So there is all that which we see is God. So that's what the Ishavasya Upanishad says. Sarvagam idagam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Soyam Atma Chatushpat is what Mandukya Upanishad says. So, and if we go to Bhagavad Gita, of course, it uses many of the Upanishad teachings, and then it does say the very similarly, similar statements are made in that. When Krishna talks to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he will he says, when he starts Ashochanno Shochastvam Pragna Vadamsha Bhashase Katasun Agatasun Shan Anushocanti Panditaha. Then the next one is really amazing when he says, Natve Vaham Jatanasam Natvam Neme Janadibaha Nachaivana Bhavishyamaha Sarve Vayamatappara. So when it clearly says that there is no time when the Atma wasn't there, whether in the past or in the future. So of course, we all can say that we are in the present time, so everything is there. But then when you talk about the past and future, the Atma was always there. So as long as we consider ourselves as Atma, and the rest, whatever we see as Atma or Ishvara, then there is no cause for worry, or there is no cause for sorrow. That's what that previous statement of Arjuna was. So if we go with these kind of shlokas and teachings, which already been delivered in many Upanishads and all that. So what Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya did was really make sure that in this Nirvana Shatakam, that he made sure that we keep on getting reminded ourselves that indeed, yes, this is the even though we are so associated with our body that we, as Vasu just described, Seshadri has done this, done that, but then Seshadri is Atma, just like Vasu is Atma, and you guys are all Atma. So, but again, Paramarthika Sat, that's the true world, but in Vyavaharika Sat is what we dwell into a lot of times. And in Vyavaharika Sat, yes, of course, what my education, background, and all that comes to. But then we have to get ourselves out of this Pratibhatika Sat and Vyavaharika Sat, and not, it is every day of living. Yes, you have to get out of a little bit of sattva into some kind of a tamas or rajas to do things. But then we have to always remind ourselves that we are nothing but the Atma, and no more than that. So, and Atma, and as that whole concept, it's just like we are looking at a sunrise in the morning, and we enjoy it and we love it. But at the same time, we know that the sun neither rises nor sets. So it is all the sun Earth is rotating and revolving around the sun, so that causes the diurnal activities. So we fully know that, but still we can still enjoy. So that's the point of when you get into that Nidhidhyasanam state, then you do realize that this whole thing is Jagat is Mithya, but you only Jiva Brahmotpara, Paratpara. Jiva and Brahma are one and the same. So Tatwamasi, as that Mahavakya says. So it is, when you come down to that, it is really a matter of thinking, okay, now I have realized that I'm not just the body, mind complex, but I'm beyond that. But then how do I make sure that really I get into this mode of identifying myself as Atma? And for that, this Nirvana Shatakam is really very useful, because this is something which can be recited every day in the morning and evening. And then basically to remind ourselves that, okay, we have done with our transaction reality for a while, all that Prativasika Sat and Vyavaharika Sat, and now I really need to be in the Paramarthika Sat. So we have to dwell ourselves into this Paramarthika Sat and into this I am Atma feeling, at least for some time during our waking stage. Because definitely in deep sleep, we give up everything and we are in the Paramarthika Sat state. We are just one with the Atma, because we don't have any feelings of any body or mind or anything. Nothing interferes in the deep sleep state. Of course, in the dream state, we still get some of the mind still is active, even though the limbs are not active. So when we get to this level and remind us, that's what Adi Sankara in a lot of various forms have tried to initiate people into these kind of dialogues and teachings and telling us. So I'm looking at what my as I said, Vasu was saying, I had been a student of Arsha Vidhya for the last 16 years with under Swami Dayananda Saraswathi and various swamis and teachers under him, who have including Swami Paramarthananda from Chennai and Swami Tatwamayananda who lives in Secunderabad, but also comes to US regularly. So when you listen to these teachers over and over again over a time, you start realizing that, okay, that you have to be a little bit more proactive in getting yourself into not just Shravanam and Mananam are done for, have been doing for a while. Still, you do that so that you're in Satsanga. Satsangatse Nisangatam, but that's what Adi Sankara also says that. So, but it's better to have Satsanga than any Sangha or any bad Sangha. So, being in that Satsanga and then getting ourselves into this mode of saying, okay, now for the next half hour, I will not, I will just be myself. I'll just do the being. And so that you get into that Nidhidhyasanam state right now, rather than in your deep sleep state. So that in the waking state, trying to do that is a little bit challenging at times, but there are times when we can allocate our time to ourselves and do this on a regular basis. Now, going back to this text of Adi Sankara, as I said, Shankara wrote a lot of books, but this is really very meant for really students who have come to the stage where they can do the Nidhidhyasanam with this. So, and I'll just recite the very first one, and I will mute myself, and then you can all chant once if you feel like. Mano buddhir ahankara chittani naham nacha kshotra jihve nacha drana netre nacha vyomo bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham.
And they would have chanted Shesha. They're all muted. We have to avoid disturbance. If multiple people chant together at once, there'd be a lot of hum.
No, that's fine. They can chant on their own in their own homes, right? In the muted state. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, again, the strong association of us to our mind-body complex it's very strong. So that's the reason why Shankara brings Mano Buddhir Ahankara Chittani Naham, because you know that you can give up a little bit of, you can say, okay, I'm not the body, a little bit more easily than I'm not the mind or my buddhi or my ego. That's what we are talking about here, or my inner self. So it's very hard for us to give up the ownership of the mind, the intellect, and the buddhi. So because of that, it starts off with Mano Buddhir Ahankara Chittani Naham. Then, of course, you want to continue with Nacha Kshotra Jikve, Nacha Prana Netre, Grana Netre. So you want to talk about your ears and tongue and or your sense of taste, and then, of course, your eyes. The idea is the sense organs are so dominant. Kathopanishad says, that our sense organs are outward looking. So that's the problem with most of our problems. Paranchikani is what it says. So when you talk about Paranchikani, and then of course the sense organs are looking out, and but we have to start turning some of them inward also. We have to start looking at what I'm made of, in the sense that not just the outside world, but try to do a little introspection of ourselves with our sense organs which we have. So that kind of helps in at least negating some of them a lot more easier than just saying, okay, uh, whatever I'm seeing or whatever I'm hearing and all that. But once you start hear your own voice and to your own, you start seeing your own self a little bit more deeply, it matters most actually. Na cha vyoma na dhumir na tejo na vayu. Neither the space, nor the earth, nor the fire, or the air, or the wind. So we are talking about the Pancha Mahabhuta. So we start with Mano Buddhir Ahankara Chitta Ninaham, and then we go into the Pancha Indriyas, and then we go into the Panchama Bhuta. And again, the way the Chandas is done is such that they can accommodate only the 4 of them, not 5. So the idea is, okay, you do know that there are Panchamahabhutas and Pancha Indriyani. So 4 is a good representation, and it is done because of the meter of the way it is written. So, and of course, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham is the common in all these 6 Shatakam. So basically, the Chidananda Rupa, that's what you're going to remind yourself, that you're the Chidananda Rupa. Shivoham, Shivoham. You're really, Shiva means, well, Shiva, Vishnu and all that is not that Shiva, but Shiva means in this sense, you're the calm person, calmness involved. Shiva, yeah, there are many different meanings to Shiva. And Shiva, one of the meaning is Lord Shiva, or another meaning is also for Paramatma, you can just say Shiva. So, and another Shiva meaning is you can be Shivona Sumana Bhava. So it's if you go with Rudra and all that, talk about Shiva in that sense. So Shiva is the calm person. The one whose calmness is considered as Shiva. So then of course, if you talk of Rudra, then Gora Shiva and all that, Gora also. But there is also Shivo is also one of the, that's what you're going to say. You're really the same Atma as the Almighty, because the Atma is, there's only one Atma. So the Paramatma and your Atma, there's an Aikya. That's what Tatwamasi is all about. So there is a Atma Aikya, and we are talking about that in saying this Shivoham, Shivoham, and Chidananda Rupa. So you're not basically, we normally say Satchidananda, Sat, Chit and Ananda, but here Swami Shankaracharya has just said, Adi Sankara has said Chidananda Rupa. So it's all the same thing, same meaning. Satchidananda, Chidananda, Ananda, they're all synonyms. So Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham. That's what this first one delivers. Basically, talking about the Pancha Mahabhuta, Panchendriyani, and also the Mano Buddhir and Ahankara Chitta. So So we are talking about the more things which we associated very strongly, basically day in and day out. That's what it is. So if you're whenever you go outside into world to do transaction, when you're in during Vyavaharika Sat, in transaction reality, you have to go out into this world. You do some rajasic tendency to drive or walk or do something, and some tamas in resting or eating and all that. But at the same time, when you're getting a break and then reminding yourself, you're going to say that, okay, I'm really Shiva, Shivoham, Shivoham. Then I'll recite the next one also. Nacha prana sango, nacha navai pancha vayuho, nava sapta dhatur, nava pancha koshaha, navakpani padam, nachopasta payu, chidananda rupa, shivoham, shivoham. Again, the next thing, even as from Stula Sharira, you can come down to Prana Sharira and all that. So, then that's when it says, no, you're not really the Prana. So don't consider that if if you are just the Prana, then it doesn't. Atma is beyond all that. Atma is everywhere. Atma is Sarvantarayami. So it is in every possible space, or you can think of Atma is there. So, but Prana and Vayu, they don't exist everywhere. So they are all limited. And here again, Panchavayu, Prana, Pana, Apana, Samana, Udana, Vyana. So all the Panchavayus is what we're talking about. And Panchakosha, again, the outer body, and then the Pranamaya Kosha, then Manomaya Kosha, then Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So Sula Sharira and the other four, like that. So again, Nawak Pani Padam, Nacha Chopastapayu. So basically about our limbs, and you're not definitely, basically you're negating that also. So most of Vedanta really is saying that because our such a strong association with our body and mind and other things, it is trying to, the only way the teaching or gnana can be delivered, the knowledge, is by negation. You are not that, you are not this, you are not this, you are not that, you are not that. So, but what are you is, you are really the self, you are the subject. All the other things are just really objectified. So, as Swami Ramana Maharshi also said in Drishya Viveka, what you see are objects. What you experience, whatever you experience, whatever you do in this world are objects. So you have none of them. You have you have no association with any object, because you are the subject. You are the one which is giving reality to any of them. Without you, there is no reality. It's kind of hard to understand that a little bit, but once we get into that, there is no other thing other than if you don't exist, there is no reality of the entire Jagat. So whatever objects you're seeing, they cease to exist if you don't exist. So, but you are giving reality to them as you, because you are the one who are establishing their presence. It's like uh, you are the one who can say, okay, there is an object which is present today, but then it disappears in maybe a million years or a billion years, something like that. But some things can be even transitional, just like the common example is given like a wave and in an ocean, right? So the waves are there for just a transitionary moment, and then it is just really water. Water is the true reality in any ocean. But then the waves are uh, just like the waves are, it is like our Vyavaharika Sat, the waves. So you can equate the water to the Paramarthika Sat in understanding the concept of what Atma really is. Because if you consider, okay, the actual ocean is really nothing but water, but there are waves, but the waves are really some perturbations which happen in the water, and just like the perturbations which happen in our mind gives rays to all these objects, just like that there are these perturbations which happen, but then the reality is the self itself, Atma, and the Atma doesn't change, doesn't get modified, doesn't nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So this nothing can destroy the Atma in any form or way. But same thing, nothing can destroy the water in an ocean. There can be big waves, small waves, medium waves, whatever. But then they're all nothing but water. So in that same reality, how we are able to accept that as the we know that, observe it, and we accept that. Oh, we are pretty much confident, and we don't have any doubts about it at all. So the similar concreteness should come to us about our own self, that our Atma, we are just the Atma and nothing more than that. So we are there, we do these transactions, then we come back and rest in our Atma again. Again, we do another bit of transaction the next day, or maybe not the next day, or 2 days later. But still, we had to come back and rest in our own Atma. That's whole Nidhidhyasana way of doing things. So if I'm doing Nidhidhyasana, really I'm coming to a stage where I'll practice my life so that I know that for this particular transaction, I'll have to have this rajas and tamas, or some sattva also included, some combination of these gunas, and perform this transaction, and then come back and say, okay, I did that for the benefit of something, and now I'm really coming back to my that Atma. It doesn't get it's only there as a witness. It has observed all this, whatever you did, but it does nothing. It doesn't interfere in anything. It doesn't change in any way or form. It remains as the same. So, but if you did some good karma, you'll get some punya. You did bad karma, you'll get papa and all that. But it only is there. Papa and punya is only there till you get knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, and once you have consolidated in you, there is nothing like papa or punya, because you know that you're just the Atma, and you're doing this transaction reality for the sake of existing in this world, in this Vyavaharika Sat state. So as long as you come back to that, there is nothing about, because when you're dealing with any karya and start doing it with, this is all, I'm doing it for Ishvara, Shivoham, Shivoham, and then you do it, right? Then it is, Shiva is doing all that in the sense, or Krishnarpanamastu, you can say, whatever you're comfortable in dealing with it. If you just deal with it in that manner, there is nothing which attaches to you once you have gained the knowledge and consulted. So there is nothing to dwell and say, okay, I did this, I did that, and all that. So nothing, you did nothing. You are just a medium of in which the transaction was done. So once you get into that state, then you have really come to the state where Nidhidhyasana has established in you completely. So to get to that stage is what we are doing with this Nirvana Shatakam. So I will go to the next one. Name dvesha ragau, name lobha moha, mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhavaha, dharmo na charto na kamo na moksha, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. Again, as I said, there is nothing about you, so you don't have any name dvesha raga. So even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also multiple times, where he says, don't have any association with karma phala, nor you attach yourself to jaya ajayo, yeah, missing that now. So there are things where the dvandas, the opposites which come into life, sukha dukkhe samay krutva labha alabha jaya ajayo. So why sukha dukkhe samay krutva? Because there is kind of, this reminded me when I was looking at the recent RCB winning the IPL, right? And then the tragedy unfolding the next day. So if we did not have any, if we had that mindset that sukha dukkha samay krutva, then we wouldn't have been in a position as if it was a collective thinking like that, then we would have accepted their win just like we would have accepted their loss in previous years, right, or times. So there should not have been, there was no celebration when there was a loss, so there's no celebration when there is a win. So we are not, but we don't get into that mindset easily, collective mindset, or individually we'll have to come to that mindset, and as the individuals start, there are more and more individuals in that same mode, then it becomes a lot easier. Because then it becomes slowly a collective thing. So if there are only 100 people today who can do that, sukha dukkha samay krutva, and if we can increase it by 10 times and 2,000 or 10,000 like that, slowly over time, then becomes a real strong force. And that strong force will make us a lot more peaceful, in the sense that we will not be so much perturbed about win or failure or loss or anything. So that kind of that mindset has to be in the person. That's the whole thing about Name dvesha raga, right? Name lobha moha. So see, that's what, if you look at lobha and moha, and they're all, again, as I said, Sukha, same thing, right? They're all part and parcels of when you are, there's a need for every person to have some amount of money for well-being, right? But when you become greedy on that, then that's what is considered as lobha, right? Uh, but for basic necessity, what you need to acquire to have a decent life is fine. But when that becomes the focus, and then you start doing a lot of adharmic things or other things to gain that, then that's when we call it lobha. Again, moha is really love for anything. Lobha and moha go together in a sense. You become a lobby because you have a moha for money in that sense, right? So again, dvesha raga. Dvesha is really hatred, and raga is love. Too much of love, too much of hatred. It's all to be taken in. You can have okay, I don't like this person, or I don't like collectively this whole group is something which we should avoid. That's what it comes down to. So we have to be more cognizant of what we are trying to uh, be with ourselves. So when we are trying to have a sense of, okay, now I'm willing to do this uh, for if I say I want to do this for humanity, I want to do this for somebody for their benefit and all that. It should be done with the, uh, as I said, if you do with the attitude of Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, there's nothing like it, because that really would transcend everything. You will not have any Dvesha Raga or Lobha or Moha. Madho Naiva Me Naiva Matsarya Bhava. So you're not highly egoistic, nor you're jealous of anyone. So then, of course, it comes to the fourth Purushartha here. Na dharmo, na cha artho, na kamo, na moksha. So it is surprising thing is it includes even moksha here, because sure, Bhagavad Pada thought that, okay, if he just leaves that dharma, artha, kama as na, then what about moksha, people will say. And to get moksha, you'll have to acquire all this artha, and you'll have to have some uh, some dharmic style you have to live, so and all that. So basically, it comes down to is when you're trying to achieve something as not really achieve, but transforming yourself, basically from a body-mind complex mindset to Atma. Basically, all the knowledge, everything which we learn, right, is nothing but just a transformation in our thinking to be, okay, I'm no longer just the body mind intellect complex, but I'm really the Atma. So there's nothing uh, to be gained, nothing to be done other than just that transformation to happen. So for the transformation to happen, uh, you cannot have, yeah, you have to follow the dharmic principle and do all the right things, but after some time you don't have to, as I said, when you come to Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, then you just leave everything to Shiva and then do uh, what is expected of you. And most, I would say, almost everyone who's have that knowledge and consolidated it will always do the right thing. There's nothing like a wrong act to be done or wrong things to be done by him. So, yeah, that's why he has included, even as I said, you have when you have already, there's nothing, as I said, nothing to gain in moksha, really, because as you are born, anyone who has an a sentient, who is sentient, right? Any living being who is sentient is already liberated. It's just that we don't know about it, or we don't have come to grips with it. We are not established that firmly in ourselves that, okay, I don't have any association with any of this. There is nothing like, yeah, there are people who are talking, I heard today about some Swami talking about on TV about, oh, okay, we'll go to Vaikuntha and all that. There is nothing like Vaikuntha, nothing like Kailasa, nothing like, not all that is only in our mind. So all we have to do is just, once we realize we are the Atma, as I said, the Atma is everywhere. So everywhere where space can enter, or anywhere where space even doesn't exist, Atma is there. So that Atma, which is Sarva Vyapi, so there is nothing to hold it back. So once we come to grips with it and say, okay, I am Atma, there is nothing, I am Atma Brahmas, Soyam Atma Chatushpat. So once we come to that understanding, there is no moksha also required. So all the four Purushartha have been negated here. Okay, the fourth one. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham. Na mantro, na tirtha, na veda, na yajnaha. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. Chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So, as I said, there is no punya or papa when somebody is already in that state where they are saying Chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. Because nothing to be, doesn't, in the body doesn't have anything which for them to gain anything or lose anything. So the transaction which they are doing on a regular day basis is everything attributed to God. So there is nothing to dwell on it and say that, okay, I'll have to think of punya or papa. And also it says no, na saukyam na dukkham. Again, I went into this earlier also. There is nothing like sukha or dukkha. So na mantra na tirtha. So it's even negating. So you don't have to really chant anything or do anything, no, or na veda, na mantra na tirtha, na veda na yajnaha. So you don't even need to have read, well, it said that everyone should read a little bit of Veda or Vedanta every day. But now Shankara is saying, no, once you are in that stage where you are in the Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Veda is same thing as Bhagavan. So you are already at associating yourself with Bhagavan. So there is nothing for you to get into Veda. Na yajnaha. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. So I'm the one who's consuming everything. Naiva bhojyam na bhokta. There is nothing about food, because Yeah, as we say in, as Bhagavad Gita says, right, in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, everything is really Brahma. So we attribute the entire food, we attribute all the food and everything to Brahma. So it's all the food, and the one who makes the food, one who eats the food, and one who digests the food, one who maker, consumer, everything is Brahma. So there is nothing, no different between Brahma and Bhojanam or Bhojyam or Bhokta. So as I said, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Okay. The last, okay, I'll go to the 5th one. Mrutyurna Shanka Name Jati Vedaha Pita Naiva Me Naiva Mata Na Janma Na Bandhur Na Mitram Gurur Naiva Shishyaha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Mrutyurna Shanka. So, as I said, once you realize you are the Atma, there is Natvevaham Jatanasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha, said in Gita chapter, 2nd chapter, 13th, 12th verse. It really makes sense that okay, now for of course, for the body, the body will die. Okay? So body will die. It has to, because it's all mithya. So it's only Sat really here is the Atma, right? So the body and all that has a limited life period of time, and then it'll have to fall one day, and it'll fall. So mrityu na shanka means really there's no mrityu for the Atma. So you don't worry about it. Name jati veda. So there is no point in dwelling in on any form of jati. Doesn't really mean caste, but it can also mean that Manushya jati and or the animals or the trees and the plants. And so you don't distinguish, or you don't say that, okay, I'm the only one who will attain, who knows the Atma. No, Atma is there in all these living beings. Otherwise, there is no life. So they are all the same. They're also all Atma. So it's just that their expression is different than yours. You're only in a Manushya Jalma, you have that capability to understand the, okay, the others are all, this is really something which you accept that, okay, you can be, you can have some vision, you can have some sense of what is the what is the difference between a body, sense organ, mind, complex, and the Atma. So in the Manushya Jalma, you can do that, but at the same time, you don't say that just because an animal form is there, that animal is not to be considered as mithya. Animal is not, any living being is Sat, in the sense that it has all Atma. Wherever Atma is there, there is Sat. Pita naiva me naiva mata na janma. So, yeah, if Atma is timeless and there everywhere, there is nothing, no question about a father or a mother, not a birth, because there is no death for the Atma, so there's no birth. So the Atma doesn't have any birth or death. Nor, of course, once you say that there's no birth or death, there is no question of any pita or mata. Na bandhur na mitram gurur naiva shishya So there is no, again, once you are negated your parents itself, Matur Deva Bhava, Pitur Deva Bhava, even though the Veda says, even that has been negated here. So, and also it says, of course, there is nothing like relationship to anyone. No bandhur, no mitram, gurur naiva shishya. So there is no friend or foe, or there's no relative or anything, because it's for Atma, it's all the one and the same. There's only one Atma, as I was saying earlier. So once you come to that stage and say Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, there is nothing, no, of course, there is no teacher nor a student. No, Guru Naiva Shishya. Yeah, there is no teacher, because once you say I'm a teacher and another person says I'm a student, then that has to change sometime, right? It cannot be the same teacher and student. Then what happens when that teacher was a student earlier? So was he a student or is he really a teacher? What is he really? So when it comes down to that, there is no teacher, no student. So Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Aham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupa Vibhutvancha Sarvatra Sarvendriyanam Nacha Asangatam Naiva Muktir Nameya Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So that's where I started about, okay, we are, and I said, we'll talk about Nidhidhyasana out of this. So this last one really comes down to giving more details about it. So it says Nirvikalpa, Nirakara Rupa, Sarvatra Sarvendriyan, Nacha Asangatam. So we don't have any association with anything. Naiva Muktir Nameya. There is nothing like Mukti, because for Atma there is no Mukti. Mukti, if you want to think, is only for the body. When the body is discarded at the end of one's life, that's what Mukti is for the body. It's not there's nothing like a Mukti for the Atma, because the Atma is always one with Ishvara. So Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So that's what really are the oneness with Ishvara. That's once we get into that stage, and there is no shape, no form, no, with things like Nirakara doesn't mean all akaras are together can be considered as Nirakara. So every akara can be considered as Nirakara in that sense. So there's no one particular form. That's what Nirakara means in this context. So it can be anything. So, but then again, as I said, Atma is everywhere. So as I said, in Advaita Vedanta, there's only Atma. So all these are just modulations or perturbations on the Atma. When you see any mithya in the Jagat, it is only because of the basic Atma being there. That's what is causing to see the other mithya. So there's mithya is enough. As I said, we negate everything, and then we come to say that, okay, in the end, yeah, agreed, all this exists only with the, I think I said even earlier, right? The transaction, the reality really is that when the Atma is the only one which exists, uh, that is the Sat, and anything which has a time bound is considered Mithya. So anything, it includes our body, our mind, our the whole Earth, the solar system. Everything is bound with a time. Everything has come with a expiration date, and also a date when it was formed. So if we really go back into the whole physics and even Big Bang and all that, yes, the universe itself emanated at some time with a Big Bang. But then what was there before Big Bang, what was in T minus 0 at Big Bang, science doesn't explain. It says singularity. So, but then Vedanta says there is this whole thing is like a cycle. Laya and Pralaya keep on happening. So there's like you withdraw and then you release, then withdraw and release. So when you release, it expands, and then it later contracts, and then you come back, and then so when you're thinking on those terms and come to grip with that, then it becomes a lot easier to explain to ourselves and have that, as I said, once that firm mindset of Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, really, if you get firmly established in you, and that, and once you are Nirvikalpo, Nirakara Rupa, and all that, it gives you some of these characteristics of that. Vidvanta Sarvata Sarvendriyanam. So it really is something which can help in establishing ourselves, and with the knowledge which we have gained in all our Shramanam and Mananam, and be with ourselves in this Nidhidhyasanam state, and have that feeling of Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. So I'll just say that one more time, and then any time for questions, and I'll be willing to answer them. Thanks.